Hello! If you are new here, my name is Jess. I'm a 3rd grade teacher in Southern California, and this video is actually the first in a series that I'm going to be doing about flexible seating, where I cover one smaller topic in the midst of a larger topic. So if you are interested in more videos about flexible seating and how it works in my classroom, head on over to my page and hit subscribe for more videos. So one of the questions I get about flexible seating a lot is actually about how to administer state testing. So if you are someone who's skeptical, or if you are maybe an admin who's skeptical about flexible seating, and you're not really sure like how it would work, I'm here to show you. I really wanted to make this video because flexible seating has truly been the best thing ever in my classroom. It's not just changed the layout, but it's completely changed my pedagogy and the style of teaching. And so I want to encourage as many people as possible to at least try it. So I want to make this video to eliminate any possible objections that people would have about flexible seating due to state testing. So I'm going to give you a little tour around and show you kind of how my room is spaced out, where I put students, and you can see that really flexible seating with state testing is not an issue whatsoever. In fact, my room feels more spread out now than it did last year. My students are much further apart and have their own little space. So I actually think it works better. It's not something to be scared of. Give it a try. I'm going to turn you guys around and I'm going to show you exactly where I have spots. Anywhere where you see the papers, headphones, water bottle, all this stuff on the tables or on different chairs, that is where a student will be sitting for testing. Our second day of state testing, and yesterday I was planning on making this video, but I wanted to wait until I had one day under my belt because this is actually my first year doing full-blown flexible seating. Last year I had desks for every student, so I wanted to make sure I really understood how it was going to work and work out all the kinks before I shared with you guys. So yesterday was a little chaotic because before the students got here I had set out scratch paper and pencils at the different flexible seating spots that I wanted them to be able to choose, and then I just had them come in the room 5 at a time and then pick their spot from there. But some of the students moved the paper to different spots and it wasn't perfect. And then from there I had to pass out like their headphones, their mice, their login papers, snacks. Like it was just a lot to kind of organize, and then they also had to get their Chromebooks. Like it was just too much. Some students also had to get their whiteboard because the spot that they chose didn't have a desk at it, so they needed like a hard surface to write on with their scratch paper if they needed it. So I wouldn't have done it like that. So I tried something different yesterday and it went a lot better. So at the end of the day I had everyone, after we cleaned everything up, stand against the whiteboard over here. So they were just kind of like out of the way. And I had already collected all of their little like testing notes that I shared with you guys in a previous video. They're like words of encouragement. I'd already collected those, so I just mixed those up and then I called them over one at a time based on whoever's random testing note I pulled. And then that is who got to pick their flexible seating spot first. So then once they picked their testing spot for the next day, they left their mice, their headphones, their testing note, scratch paper, pencil, and a water bottle that we're refilling with their initials on it. That way when they come in today, they already know where they're going, their stuff is already there, and then when they left yesterday, I could pass out all the rest of their stuff, their snacks, their little login sheets, everything that I knew that they needed personally, or if I needed to leave anything at their spot, I already knew where they were going to be sitting, even though they don't have like a desk. Then at the end of today, I'll have them do the same thing for tomorrow. We'll line up again on the whiteboard. I'll mix up their testing notes, and then they can pick their spot. I like doing it this way too, because then I'm able to actually pick the specific spots that I want them to sit at. It's not a free-for-all. They do get to pick their own spot. It's still flexible seating, but I get to choose which spots around the room are going to be a safe, secure testing spot for them, and also give them their own personal space. That's one thing that I've heard people be a little bit fearful about with flexible seating during state testing time, is that, you know, how do you test with them? They're sitting so close to each other. But I've actually found that with flexible seating, I have more room, not less room. The desks are out of the way, so we have more spots for students. So I just pick which spots around the room I want them to be able to choose from, and I pick a couple extra than there are students. That way they have a little bit of wiggle room, and then that's their spot for the day. I purposely picked spots where students would not be able to see another student's Chromebook, but also a spot that gave them a little bit of personal space. Desks that were next to each other, I just moved, and then any furniture that was kind of in the way that wasn't being used, that was extra, I just moved it behind my desk so that it gives the kids a little bit more of like a focus bubble, so hopefully they're not going to be distracted by one another and they can really just focus on their own test. You can even see like this desk right here is moved apart because this student wanted a desk, but there weren't any that were spaced out from each other, so I just moved this little guy over here so that this guy could have a desk and a space to sit at with a surface, and they wouldn't be right next to each other. So even if you don't have them spaced out, you can space them out. For example, these high desks are usually all together, but I just spaced them out so that they would have their own little space, and it's not a big deal. It wasn't a big deal yesterday. They were focused. They weren't looking at each other's Chromebooks. They weren't messing around. Nothing. One thing that I am going to need to do though is these desks right here need to be moved. So this one, I'm going to just flip around and face the whiteboard, because this one and this one are best friends and they're going to be directly facing each other. So I want to make sure that I'm eliminating any distractions for them before it's even an issue. So I'm just going to flip that around before he gets here. Okay, I want to share one more thing with you guys that's not necessarily flexible seating, but it is a good focus tool, and I'm using it during testing. So it is these fidget toys. I'm going to flip you around and show you. I just keep this box behind my desk, and I pulled it out to show you guys today, but it's just full of different little fidget toys. We've got a fidget cube, just different sensory items that students can play with. This is really soft. They can squeeze it. They can rub their hand along the different edges. This can go on their wrist, and they can just play with the tassels. Same with this one. It has a little band for that. This one is really cool. It has a little marble inside of it, and the kids love to just push it back and forth. To be totally honest, sometimes I will grab one too, and I will just walk around with it. This is a favorite. It's an infinity cube. The only thing with this one is it makes a little like snapping noise, so if you're doing something completely silent like state testing, that might not be the best option, but the kids do love it. This one is good. It's little spikies. This is another favorite, but again, it snaps. So it just has different edges that you can just play with. But I have found that these fidget tools help so much. Every single one of them is gone almost every day. This one is falling apart. Its little hair is coming undone, but it wraps around and you can just twist it. So my students are allowed to access these whenever they want, but especially during state testing, I told them if you feel like you need one, go ahead and take one. I almost have enough for every single student to have one, but some of them don't want one. But they're all a little nervous right now about state testing. So for whatever reason, this helps them focus. So now they have their own little spot. They're separated from distractions, and they have a little tool they can use to fidget with if they need to. So I got these on Amazon. I would highly suggest getting some fidget tools and making them available for your students. We talked about they are a tool, not a toy. So if you're using it as a toy, I'm going to take it away. But if you are using it to help you stay focused, then you can use it whenever you need to. If you guys have any other questions about how flexible seating works with state testing, feel free to leave them down below. If you also have any other questions about flexible seating in general for this series, feel free to leave them down below and I will make a video explaining that topic to you. So I hope this was helpful. I hope this encourages you to try flexible seating. I hope this does not scare you away from trying it. It is much easier in my opinion, and the kids really like having their own little bubble of focus. If you found this video helpful, please hit the like button and please head over to my page and subscribe. I will see you guys soon for another video. Thanks for watching. Bye.